Good evening. Thank you all very much. It was been an inspiring night, but really, this case was inspiring. And what I really noticed is how many people it took in all of these cases. They talk about it takes a village. Well, these cases take a lot of work by a lot of people. And I am the lucky one here that gets to stand up here first, but this case started with Greg Vanni from Pasadena. Greg and I, and Greg Bentley, have been in another case together. Greg Vanni believed in this case. He loved the client, Israel. He did everything he could, and he was being overwhelmed, and he brought in more reinforcements. And he really brought in first Greg Bentley, and then they brought in someone that is unbelievable, Changzilla, Debbie Chang. And Debbie Chang is one hell of a lawyer, and she never gives up. And she traveled all over the world on this case, from Canada to New York to Florida to Nebraska, and we always wondered whether she worked on any other case. And she had the federal government, the Department of Energy, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the Department of Energy, and all these people so interested in this case and realizing how much death and injury these defective tanks were causing. So I think all of these people are the ones that really did the legwork. And you know, they drove the ball down the field and I handed it off to me and I got to score the touchdown. But they're the ones that were in the trenches that did all this work. And I'd like to thank all of you for everything all of you do each and every day for your clients. I'd like to thank my friend John Morgan, who's here tonight, who came to speak and give an inspirational speech this afternoon to everyone, and talking about what it's like to lose and get back up. And that's what all of us do each and every day, and we've all done that together throughout this state. And we got to continue to fight, and the fight has just begun. And remember, the journey is the reward. And this journey was fabulous, and there are many more journeys in front of all of us together. And if we all stick together as a team, we're going to do a lot more for everyone else. And I'd like to thank all of you for coming here tonight, and really thank Greg Vanni, who's a fabulous lawyer, did a tremendous job in this case. Greg Bentley, who was a tireless worker, and Debbie Chang, who you never want to see on the other side of any case. And really, to have such fabulous clients that put their trust in us when they had nowhere to go, and to see the faces on them when this was resolved, and to know that they made a difference for everyone else, and this won't be happening again in the future, like each and every one of you do every day in your practice when you represent your clients and you make a difference in each and every one of their lives. And that's what we do together, and the fight has just begun. Thank you all very much, and God bless you.
That's a tough act to follow. I have to tell a brief story about your incoming president, our incoming president, Brian Chase. About 10 years ago, Brian and Dave Berglund and Tom Beck and myself had a focus group mock trial on a huge products case against Ford. And Brian and I played the plaintiff's attorneys, and Tom and Dave Berglund were the defense lawyers. And after a very vigorous fight, Brian and I lost the case. And ever since then, the last 10 years, every time I see Brian, either he calls me loser or I call him loser. And so tonight, Brian, I'm not a loser anymore, okay? So get rid of that. I have to say some thank yous. I've been a lawyer for 32 years, doing nothing but this kind of work. I've always been a plaintiff's lawyer. I've always been with the same law firm. And like my law firm, I've had a partner throughout my life, my adult life, for the last 38 years, my wife, Glenda. And I want to thank her tonight. jobs to put me not only through law school but undergrad. And me as a window washer, we've come a long way, baby. Thank you. And I want to thank my kids for being here tonight, Adam and Alexis. Lex lives up here in San Francisco, and we always find an excuse to come and visit. So we love this fair city. I want to thank my law partners, Tom Beck and Kevin Callahan, who are here tonight. And I couldn't have had a better relationship with a law firm, a friendship, a business relationship that has just been magical. And I really want to thank my partners, especially Tom and I go way back, 30 plus years. I also want to thank Michael O'Connor, one of our attorneys, who should be up here with us because he put in countless hours in this very difficult case. And I also want to thank our co-nominees for these fabulous cases that Juris Production exhibited today. Any one of those cases deserves just as much to be up here on the dais tonight. And I take my hat off, and I'm humbled to be in the same company with all those fine lawyers and the great work that you did on your cases. Lastly, I want to thank Israel Solorio, because he's the reason why the four of us are up here tonight. And Israel Solorio's sister called me about 6 years ago and asked me to come and see her brother in the hospital at Huntington Hospital in Pasadena. And when I saw that young man, he had been through a horrific explosion. He was the absolute, totally innocent victim, doing his job, working as a laborer at this local laundry factory in Pasadena, going to school as well. His dream was to become an electrician. And all of a sudden, these tanks blew, and he was in the truck where the tanks were located. And he was thrown 50 feet out of that truck, and his legs were shredded. One of them was amputated. He had concussive head injuries. He was a complete mess. He was covered from head to toe when I saw him with bandages in the hospital. And I looked at that young man, and I committed to him, to his sister, to his family, that there was going to be some way I was going to right this wrong, and I was going to help this guy to have a life, even though at that point it looked so dim and so grim. And I'm happy to say that the other day I spoke to Israel, and like I said in the video, he's recently purchased a beautiful home. He moved his family into that home. He's not married, but he moved his sister with her kids so they could go to a good school. He grew up in the projects area of northwest Pasadena, and now he has a beautiful home. He bought himself a husky, a dog, and that dog pulls him up into the hills so he can go hiking with his new prosthetics. And he's got a great life. He promised to come and see me next week. His mom's going to make some tamales for the holidays. And I can't wait to show this award to Israel. He'd be so proud. Lastly, I just have to echo what Brian said about Debbie Chang, because Michael O'Connor and I, we worked as hard as we could. We got to the case to a certain level, and we realized we needed to assemble a team. And we got the dream team. Greg Bentley, I first called my good friend. We worked well on another case. Then we brought in Brian and Debbie later. And I'll tell you, hell hath no fury like an unleashed Chang. I saw her tear apart PhDs with all kinds of engineering degrees in Omaha, Nebraska, in Orlando, Florida, and she was just magical. She took this case to an entirely new level, and she got the truth out of these people to the point where the industry was scared, and they had to do something about it. And it was this lady who was very responsible for why we got the result we got, and why we've changed the industry to toughen up the safety standards. So I've taken enough of your time. Thank you so much, all of you, for doing what you do.
Yeah!
And thank you to CAOC for this fabulous honor. And thank you to my team.